What's been going on with Trias? That is the question. It's a great question. Dogecoin and Trias, I mean, really are kind of the hot topics within... oh, shit, it hit that perfectly. Wow, when did I draw that? Well, what's happening is it's hitting my targets exactly. Now, even though I did anticipate a bounce literally here, right? Because I've had this here... since the time people said I was an idiot for having this box here, and then months and months later it bounced off of it. I did not anticipate a bounce this high. But once I saw that it was an aggressive bounce that got over the weekly 10, which is this red line, this was the next obvious spot, and it hit it and pulled back perfectly. So to answer your question of what's going on with Trias, it might be, honestly, it might be the team using TA to set up an opportunity to release news, which honestly is pretty good. It's not a bad idea. It's nothing bad. If I had to guess, that would be my guess. So, for example, like Richard Hart, even though I'm not speaking for him, I'm making a guess about, was it Pulse Chain that he has coming out? Why would you release a project with a token, connected to it? Why would you release it in a bear market? Wait till price is up, right? That makes sense? So take that thought in terms of planning, a business or the price of the underlying stock of it or token of it. And okay, well, my token or my stock or whatever will perform better if I take my plan A and simply move it along the time axis, the same plan A, but if I do it on the time axis over here, the same plan will work better than if I did it over here, right? I think the same thing might be happening with Trias. If I had to make a, not a conspiracy theory because it's nothing negative, it's just what I would have done too. Everybody's looking at this. If price went below here, then it's all-time lows, price discovery down. Like Trias people would be, shit out of luck because it would hit like 24 cents if that were to happen. Therefore, everybody, or who is involved with Trias, well, I mean, most of them have seen my channel anyway because I cover Trias probably more than anybody in the world. I think that might be a true statement. But also, so I've had this here for a while, right? And I've for months and months and months, but it's going to be heavily defended. So perhaps the marketing team already had something brewing way back here, and they chose to release it after they saw this being defended. Therefore, the momentum of people defending this, plus the whatever news release they had, something about, I don't know if it's with South Korea or something, but they released something that was, pretty pivotable. That's a great word, pivotable, which is marketable, which is fundamental for the project, and which could mean, good news for investors long term. So if I had to guess, it's a mixture of both of those things. I think news of that was just released around the time of an expected bounce, which means their team is paying attention to price, which if I could, honestly, if my theory is right, it's nothing but a good thing, because that means they're kind of looking out for you too, right? Because most people want price to go up. Well, if you want price to go up, let's make it go up harder, so let's time things correctly. Again, everything I'm saying about my theory, it's just a thought of mine. I have no evidence. It's not negative if it were true. So I hope, like one time I mentioned something about VRA, and VRA people are like, I got a lot of shit. So nothing I'm saying is based on evidence I have, necessarily outside of the charts. And even if it were true, it's not negative. So don't freak out. But that was the question, and that's my answer. If I had to guess, it's a mixture. It's the team paying attention to price action. I lost my train of thought in there. One thing I was going to say was on different Reddit channels and all that stuff about, what teams are doing to help us investors out. One of the biggest complaints in all of crypto, Reddit or wherever, or crypto Twitter, specific to the teams, the founders, is they don't care about price. Like, we're just gonna, keep working through. Well, maybe you should care about price because it obviously pisses a lot of people off. So if my theory is right, this means the TRIAS team they do care about price, which means they care about you. All right. That is my guess. Now, could this be a reversal point? Yeah, that's an obvious place for this to reverse. But let's see if it's going to slow down. When would I say that the probabilities flip of continuation to the upside versus the downside? So right now, I think the probabilities are up. I don't think there's any reason for this to come down more than a healthy pullback. So actually, no, you have a very clear-cut and dry area. So you can see what this is going to be aligning with, right? This trend line that everybody's going to be looking at. So once it's broken, people will become sellers, right? And if it's broken, if you get a rally after that, then it's more probable that you're going to make a lower high. All right? But in line with that, so a lot of things are aligning with the freaking weekly 10 in this live show. Man, this is really strange. Like almost every single thing I've covered, the main line I'm looking at aligns with the freaking weekly 10. Really, really interesting. But that's what happens when crypto goes sideways for so long. Everything is jammed together, which is why the lower term timeframes are dominating everything. So with this, you're going to have two different groups of traders seeing the same thing. TRIAS could easily come down over this week or even the next 8 days, roughly to the area of $1, let's say $1.20, $1.18, and still be probable to the upside. Where your probabilities begin getting slightly less than 50% to the upside is when this happens. So if it breaks below, comes up, gets rejected, goes like this, does that automatically mean breaking above this high is impossible? No. It just means it's improbable, right? It still could happen. It just means it's not the most likely thing to happen. So don't bet on it. Like don't bet your house on it. But yeah, this is my pivot point. This trend line right here. It's not one number because it depends on when it'll hit it. I can't give you a horizontal. And really, to the upside, it's a clear-cut pivot as well. It's just taking out this high, and it should accelerate. So it could get stuck in here for a while, but it honestly might be more this line. Actually, you know what? I bet it's this line. It's either going to be when things accelerate to the upside, which still is more probable right now until this is taken out. But when you start seeing price really get moving, it's either going to be taking out the current local high or it gets stuck here for a while, because this is an important line as well. It could only hit 177, pull back, do another higher low, or get stuck in this area and then go up. I would put my money on price doesn't really zoom up until 177 is taken out. So with that, getting excited about momentum or velocity to the upside, momentum to the upside, I would temper my emotions with this high being taken out because of this line here. All right. But as of now, it's still more probable that this high will be, that 177 will be broken. All right. And we've already discussed when those probabilities flip. So that means TRIAS can come down an entire freaking 20% and still be bullish. Like 20% pullback. I think that it's still more probable 177 will be taken out. As weird as that sounds, that is how I would put this. And so what does that mean? That just means this is very, very tradable right now. Very, very tradable. If you can go down 20% and still be bullish, that means you're dealing with a lot of volatility, right? And you have very clear-cut lines, which means you have predictability. So too bad you can't trade this on futures. I mean, this would be a fun one because you can't trade it to the downside on spot. But yeah, so TRIAS is a good one to be trading on spot because you have very clear-cut dry lines. You have areas of confluence or multiple different types of traders seeing the same spot, the same idea at the same time, but for different reasons. It's honestly a great chart to be trading on spot right now. And if you're trying to learn how to trade in this bear market, trading on spot is a lot safer anyway. And B, this is volatile enough just to trade on spot. So this is a really good one to be dealing with right now. And that's what we got. So a breakdown for TRIAS, I mean, yeah, it would probably head straight back down to 80 cents. Right there, if it breaks below there. Slowly, not in 1 hour, right? You have a lot of lower highs to go. But yeah, I would say, honestly, I think 250 can be hit. especially after FOMC, if Bitcoin could stay flat or better, like Bitcoin doesn't even have to go up for 250 to be hit. So yeah, I'm thinking 2.25 right now is probably my favorite target, but 250 could easily be hit. So Trias is looking, there's plenty of opportunity. Now, you always want to keep an eye out on Bitcoin price though when you're doing this, because if you're getting a pullback to your spot to enter for a buy position, but Bitcoin is breaking below its own threshold, which we've already identified in the Bitcoin videos here, but Trias has not crossed its threshold, rather is approaching it, yet Bitcoin already crossed it to the downside, then that means, you know what? I might want to wait to see what happens here, or don't go so aggressively. So do not forget to use Bitcoin pivot points, probability pivots, in conjunction with your ideas and actions on Trias. Okay, am I making sense? Again, a pullback to here is still bullish, unless it's pulling back and at that moment Bitcoin already flipped bearish. Then I would probably wait. I would wait. I wouldn't just nail it at the exact level. Okay, let's try it.